How did you fall in love with music?
Well, my mom, am I looking at you? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Paige Wagner, and I'm a big supporter of THABOS.
What are you looking at?
A reflection.
My name is Amber Lewis, AMBRLEWIS.
2, 1. How did you fall in love with music?
I fell in love with music. My mom sings. She was a singer, and so I always grew up with her singing and such. I did musical theater, and I took voice lessons, but I fell in love with like the process of creating music and like writing music through my favorite artist, J. Cole. I listened to his album, For Your Eyes Only, and I fell in love with just like the process, like just the music itself, and it just affected me so much, and it made me want to create music and affect people in that way too.
Because now I'm in my head, I was trying to pronounce it right before I was a thing. Got women all in my bed, distracting me from my bread. But when they leave, I feel low.
Tell me what it's like to collab with THABOS.
I think THABOS is the first person that I've ever met that kind of like has the same creative process as I do. So it's honestly like talking to myself sometimes. We have very sporadic versions of how we create music and how we write or how we sample and where we get it from and the story arc. So it's literally like talking to myself. So quite fun. There's never really direct steps that it like always takes. It's always some type of adventure. Always. Always. There's never one dead moment writing with him or collabing with him.
Who's next? We coming out on top. Don't care for no eyes. The shot ready marked. I will steal your spot. I'm coming in all angles. Get ripped like the fella from Tango. We spit ice. You burn. Flow so cold. Gonna need some fur. Please don't shit. Got the young timber. Break in the box. Jack. Call me Timber. We want it. We next.
So Young Visionary Apparel is a clothing brand founded by me and Seth Sterling to inspire the inner visionary in everybody. Seth Sterling and I have known Jeremy for a very, very long time, since about college weekend for me. And we've always been inspired by his work and whatnot. Love the new album, one of the best albums I've heard in a while. And just watching his process of making it and whatnot, we were like, hey, what if we did some merch with it? And then we just started. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And we just started brainstorming, thinking about, okay, how can we do this?
Well, I grew up as a Christian. I grew up going to church every Sunday and Wednesday. So that's just the way I grew up. But I never really I didn't really accept it for myself, like Christianity for myself. I mean, I became a Christian at a young age, but I never really accepted Jesus, like saying like, this is the way I want to, this is the person I want to serve, this is the person until I was probably 17, maybe 17, around then, I don't know. I was definitely a little hooligan. I was doing illegal stuff, just being a little hoe, if excuse me, but you know, that's just, I'll be as blunt as possible.
I think it's been really cool to see how personal an artist can get with their music and just be very authentic, and it's been just really exciting to see it come together and just really see who THABOS is in his music.
How has THABOS' music impacted me? It's made me cry in the car multiple times. Just been one of those songs you like play for your friends where like, do you want to hear the saddest song ever? And then they listen to it and it's not that sad, and I'm like, it was written about me. And then they're like, oh my God, that's so sad.
And so over the process of a few months, I mean, we've been at this since 2020. And so now we're just seeing it all come together, getting stuff printed and whatnot. It's been an awesome ride, awesome ride.
I'm a part of GOA, which is basically God Overall, Grace Overall, everything like that. It's the music collective that him and Izzy originally started, and I just kind of came along in it, and that is what we are currently together on paper. He wrote my first single, and he's helping producing my songs, producing my, basically, my brand. He's helping me with that.
I was just lost because I I didn't really love myself, and I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't know how God could love me, because I knew I was so imperfect and I knew I was so messed up, and so thinking that like he loved me even in the state, I just couldn't believe it. So that drove me far away. But it wasn't until when I truly accepted that no matter what I do and no matter where I am, that he'll love me. Not as an excuse to keep living that way, but it's just like the pressure off, like feeling like that weight lifting off to be perfect, the weight of feeling to try to be perfect, like no one can love up to it. And that is something that I've had to struggle with, realizing that I can't be perfect, and accepting it and saying that even though I can't be perfect, I'm still loved by God.
THABOS' vulnerability has impacted me. Seeing a creative put their heart and soul into art and sharing that with the world has impacted me personally. Seeing someone else do it feels like I can do it too, and that anyone can do it. Be vulnerable and share it.
I think in the same way that he's impacted me, like his music has impacted me, is also what sets him apart, is that he's very much himself in his music, and like, I don't know, it's very individualistic. Like, it's very much THABOS. Like, you won't hear the same like kind of story in his music that you will in somebody else's.
One of the most meaningful items I think that we have is the Law of Attraction hoodie. And it's based off of a song that is on THABOS' new album called Law of Attraction, which is pretty much about fighting lust and fighting temptation and things like that. And a couple of, like one of the lines says, trying to find peace in a temporary place. And it's kind of like how, you know, a lot of things that we go through, a lot of temptations and lust that we face are so temporary. We can get caught up in the moment. And so it's hard to try to find peace in those temporary places. But if you prevail, if you stick through it, you will find that peace eventually. And then a couple of the other things, just some of the things that say like no longer my own on this hoodie right now, just stating that, you know, we used to want our own things, but now what I have is his own, my own, and that I'm no longer my own, I belong to God.
Not only did I cry to it, I feel like I had a moment of self-reflection, which is great for any artist to give you, but yeah, definitely, I wouldn't say that he is underrated, I would just say that he's undiscovered, because the work that he puts in is, and I would be ballsy and say that I could compare it to someone that's been in the business for 10 years. The only difference is just exposure.
I think that he is a very determined person, and that everything that he does his very best. And so I think like in 10 years, wherever the Lord leads him, I know that he'll be doing I think he'll be just doing really great. He'll be excellent.
I think that he does not get enough credit for the story arch of like how far he has come compared to where he used to be. I think that that's a huge part of his story, is his origin. Him making songs in the closet of his bedroom with an iPhone and mixing it all on a little free app from the iTunes App Store, to now recording things in the studio, having full songs and stories, different perspectives, all playing together, complicated storylines, all in one track. I think it's really impressive when you think about just coming from Virginia in his room and writing experiences that any high schooler would have experienced.
THABOS is a very close friend of mine. And usually when you listen to friends' work and stuff like that, you usually don't think too much about it, because it's like, oh, I see this person every day, this is normal, but it was specifically the song Boss/Judas. All of the songs in this album were amazing, but when I heard that song, it literally reminded me of some of my most favorite and influential rappers, like Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole. Very, very influential and prolific rappers, and that's what it reminded me of. It was very inspiring to hear how transparent and open he was on this album, and honestly uplifting to see him be so successful in everything that he's doing. It's honestly a very, very huge step of encouragement.
I know that I'll do great things. I know I have confidence in the music I make, and that where I'm headed, and that God wants to use my music, and this is where I feel like I'm called to at the moment. I don't plan to do music the rest of my life. I've always planned to do stuff in music, but I don't plan for music to be the main thing that I do for the rest of my life. I plan that I'll do many other things. I want to own my own production company, like making movies and like help other artists make music and like make TV shows and just I want to represent who God is through media and reflect the Son, reflect who Jesus is.